My name is Jennifer, and I am 35 years old." That day, I was sitting in my brand new car, gripping the soft, pleasant to the touch steering wheel so tightly that my knuckles turned white. My heart was pounding, and my head was buzzing with thoughts. For several weeks, I had suspected Michael of cheating. Those strange text messages, chronic late hours at work, sudden business trips. In the past, I would check his phone, track his movements, but now I was just tired. Tired of work, of constantly keeping myself in shape, of all the duties beyond work. Yes, tired of everything. And when Michael said again that he was going on a business trip for 2 days, I realized that I needed to leave too. Leave to detach myself from everything happening and to be alone, to figure things out. I just wanted to shed the annoying office suit, run barefoot in a light robe over the grass so it would tickle my feet, and then lie somewhere under a tree on the bare ground, looking at the boundless sky, watching the clouds drift by. The country house seemed like the perfect place for this. I loved it. It was always quiet and peaceful there. Michael and I bought it in the early years of our marriage when we were still young and happy, full of grand plans for the future. We hosted friends there, grilled meat, relaxed. It was also so wonderful to just sit in the shade of the fruit trees, letting a gentle breeze caress my face. It was there that I learned I was pregnant. It was such happiness. I had already thought of a name for my unborn daughter and wanted to call her Olivia, a symbol of pride and the legacy of her parents. However, the pregnancy, unfortunately, ended in a miscarriage due to overwork. It was a real tragedy for me. Michael was there, comforting me as best he could, albeit a little gruffly. It saved me from a prolonged depression. I quickly recovered and dove back into work and social life. Since then, much had changed. My life went on its own way. Work, career growth, new projects, new horizons, and the constant race for more life benefits. At first, I wanted a new apartment, and I bought it. Then I renovated the apartment to the highest standards. And then I bought a new car, my dream black Mercedes. Everything was going according to plan, so why wasn't I happy? Family always remained somewhere in the background. There was simply no time for it. Whenever I had the rare free time, I dedicated it all to Michael. Loyalty, care, support. When he decided to start his own business, I helped him by selling the apartment, which was filled with memories of my childhood. It was difficult, but for my husband's sake and the fulfillment of his ambitions, I did it. And then our family's level of well-being rose. Michael wisely invested the money and managed to multiply it significantly. When problems arose, I supported him as much as I could. From the outside, it seemed like we were a team, partners, and a strong, loving couple. But at some point, it became a one-sided movement. Michael no longer asked how my day was and spoke less and less. After a hard day at work, our conversations gradually reduced to domestic issues, and any romance disappeared. I had completely forgotten when Michael last gave me flowers. All that remained was a longing look in my husband's eyes, which held an unmistakable boredom when he occasionally appeared at home. It seemed as if something oppressed him here, and he was out of place. And then something new and unfamiliar appeared, something that made my heart tighten. He looked me in the eyes less, and spoke to me even less. And here I was, heading to a place where I hoped to find some peace. I just wanted to sort my thoughts and relax. But instead, as I approached the house, I saw a car at the gate. It was our old family car that Michael and I had given to my best friend Emily when she had 4 kids and found it hard to transport them to daycare and school. Emily's old car kept breaking down. As a best friend, this was simply unacceptable. Emily, my friend, the woman I greatly respected, who I admired. She was a model for me of a wife and mother. Emily never complained about her husband and always took care of the kids as much as she could, always fervently condemning infidelity and saying that marriage was hard work and happiness in it was a gift from above. Emily shouldn't have been here. It defied all logic, yet the fact remained. It was her car at the gate. I slowly got out of the car, opened the gate, and quietly approached the house. Trying to remain unnoticed, I opened the door slightly and heard laughter. I froze. That infectious, ringing laughter I would recognize from 1,000. It was her, Emily. Gently opening the door wider, I saw Michael pouring wine into glasses, and Emily sitting on the kitchen table with her legs stretched out. Her bare foot gently swinging in the air, she was without heels, without makeup, looking as if it was her home, as if it was her life, and she was happy in it. And then a calm voice came from my soul. "So, what can we raise our glasses to? To your love." This quiet phrase sounded like thunder in a clear sky. Michael flinched, turned sharply, and the wine glass slipped from his hands, leaving a bright red stain on the white tablecloth. Emily slid off the table so quickly it was as if the wind had blown her away. Michael opened his mouth but then closed it. Saying anything was unnecessary. Everything was in plain sight. "Emily?" was all I could manage. Emily paled and nervously tugged at her half-open robe across her chest. I looked at them through tears and didn't want to say anything to either my husband or my friend. I realized that I wasn't even hurt, just empty. And a bit resentful, too. "I don't know what to do with you now, my darlings," I replied, and there was no shame in Emily's eyes. They even held a certain defiance. "Jennifer, listen." But I had already taken out my phone. I knew what to do. "Robert, hi. I'm here at my house. Caught yours with mine. What should we do with them?" There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Do whatever you want," Robert finally said. "Really?" I asked, totally confused. "Yes, really. I stopped caring a long time ago," he replied wearily. I knew it all." How strange. Everyone knew. And I was living in an illusion. I don't know how it happened. Michael remained silent. I looked at them with a slight tinge of envy and tried to remember the last time I felt truly happy. Not with Michael, not with Emily. They were indifferent to me now. While forcing a smile, I said, "Then be happy." Emily opened her mouth in surprise. She never expected such a reaction from me. "Jennifer, wait." She tried to stop me, but I had already turned and walked out. I headed to the car, feeling something inside me dissolving, evaporating, and disappearing. Disappointment in my husband was understandable. In my friend, it hurt, but was also understandable. But why was there this lingering feeling that I was currently disillusioned with my entire life, with myself, with those around me, with love? Finally, I sat in the car, turned on the ignition, and stared blankly at the windshield. Beyond it was the greenery of the leaves and a cool breeze, as well as the blue, endless sky and this house. The house that was no longer mine. It now had a new owner. I pressed the gas pedal and drove away without looking back. 3 days have passed since I caught them together. My thoughts were consumed by how deceitfully Michael and Emily had acted. They say the best way to forget is to forgive, but I couldn't just let it go. My emotions, which initially felt empty, gradually grew into something more powerful and louder. After a few days, I gathered my thoughts and made a decision that would allow me to move forward, but on my own terms. I decided to take revenge. Perhaps it would lessen my resentment and provide an opportunity to turn a new page in my life. I started by gathering all the finances invested in Michael's business. As a co-founder, I had access to the corporate accounts, and a substantial part of the funds belonged to me. First, I transferred the money to my personal account. It was a risky move, but I wasn't about to let him continue living off my money, even partially. Everything was legally documented, and I consulted a lawyer to ensure all paperwork was flawless. The funds were significant enough to hinder Michael's ability to conduct his business as usual. As for Emily, I planned a more personal, unpleasant surprise. I compiled all the evidence and messages between Michael and Emily into a neat folder and sent it to her husband, Robert. Not just to harm Emily, but so Robert would know the truth and have the opportunity to make decisions regarding their marriage. Robert and I had already formed an unspoken alliance from a shared experience, and I hoped this would help him also free himself from a false perception of his life. The day came when Michael discovered the missing funds from the company. He called me in a rage, but I remained calm. "Do you think this is a fair game?" he shouted. "And what were you thinking when you betrayed us, Michael? I'm simply taking back what rightfully belongs to me," I responded confidently. Emily called me several times, pleading for a meeting, saying it was all a mistake and asking for forgiveness. But the truth was, I no longer saw the point in spending my time and energy on this person. My revenge was complete. Now it was time to start a new life. In the end, forgiveness came to me in a different form. Understanding that revenge was also an illusion of satisfaction allowed me to finally let go of this situation. I realized that the problems were not the sole cause of my unhappiness. They were merely a symptom of a deep dissatisfaction with my life. With constant reminders of infidelity and betrayal gradually disappearing from my life, I moved to Los Angeles, a city that had always captivated me. I started working on a new project that inspired me and offered the sense of fulfillment I had so lacked in my marriage. Ultimately, it turned out to be my chance to finally be honest with myself, take care of my needs, and live the way I had always dreamed.